there, this is Anissa, your English teacher for today. I'm very excited to learn with you in this fun and interactive lesson. So, today we are going to learn something that it is very useful, and because it's about grammar, I think a lot of students have struggled with this topic. Do you know what it is? Yep, it's about conditional sentences. So by the end of this video, you will be able to use conditional sentences correctly. So make sure you watch this video until the end, because if you do, you will learn something very amazing. Time is it? Oh my goodness! Oh no, I'm late again. If I had woken up earlier, I would have missed the school. God. Have you ever been in that kind of situations? When you start using if I had, if I were, or something like that, well, you've just used a condition. Alright, so let's find out how these sentences work and how you can use them correctly. So, conditional sentences come from the word condition, which means something that must be happen first before something else happen. So, in the conditional sentences, it is usually has two parts. The first part is if clause, or you can say the condition. And the second part is the main clause, or the result and the consequences. Okay, so now we have known what is conditional sentences. And guess what? Conditional sentences are divided into 4 types. There are type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Let's now deep dive into them. Okay, now we are gonna discuss the first type of conditional sentences. What is that? Yep, it is type 0 conditions. So we use these types to talk about facts, scientific truths, or things that are always true. Just remember that it is always true. It's like saying whenever this happens, that happens too. It describes what always happens when a certain condition is met. Okay, now let's see the formula of these types. We can see that if plus simple present and simple present again. So both part of the sentences using simple present tense. And let's see how it works. So for example, if you heat water, it boils. We know that it is a scientific fact. Every time you heat water, it always boils. And so grammatically, both verbs heat and boils are simple present tense. Okay, so we don't use will and would in here because we are not talking about a future, we are not talking about imagination, something like that. We are just describing some things that always true. Okay, got it? Okay, now I will just give you another examples, yeah? So, for example, if it rains, the ground gets wet. This also tells us that something is always true. If it rains, we can see, right? If it rains, it can be watery and the ground gets wet. Again, if plants don't get sunlight, they die.
Oh no!
If you drink too much coffee, you cannot sleep at night. If you touch fire, you get burned. See? Now it's your turn. Try to make your own type 0 sentences. You can write what happened if you don't sleep at night. Think about it and just write them in the version of type 0. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, in here we are gonna talk about the type 1 condition. So this type talk about things that are real, possible, or likely to happen in the future. So it's not just a fact, it's something that can really happen in the future if the condition is met. Okay, now let's take a look at this formula. Okay, you can see it, right? If plus simple present and then will plus verb 1. Okay, so here's the structure. If in the if clause, it means that it is using simple present tense, and then the result, it is using will because it's talking about the future. Okay, so for example, if I study hard, I will pass the exam. See, it's possible. I just need to study and that's the condition. Or maybe if it rains tomorrow, we will stay at home. See, it's not raining yet, but it might be happen in the future that it is raining, right? So you can say that it is possible. It's biologically we can say that it is possible to be happen in the future. That is type 1. Okay, I just give you another example. If you study English every day, you will be more fluent. If you forget your homework, the teacher will be angry. If you call me tonight, we will plan our trip. If the concert sells out, we will watch it online. Okay, now let's talk the type 2 condition. Okay, we use this type to talk about things that are unreal, imaginary, or unlikely to happen in the present or future. So it's like saying this situation isn't real right now, but we imagine what would happen if it were. So this is the structure. If plus past simple, would plus base verb or verb 1. Okay, so in here, the if clause uses past simple and the result using would plus base verb or verb 1 because we are imagining something that it is not true or not real right now. Okay, for example, if I had a car, I would drive to school every day. In reality, I don't have a car. I'm just imagining it. Okay, so you can see, right, from these sentences that I already gave you, the past tense like had, were, lived, and the main clause uses would plus base verb like would drive, would travel, or would go. Okay, we use would because the result is imaginary. It's just in your own imagination. So it's not real. Okay, so here are some more examples that can give clear understanding for you. If I lived near the beach, I would swim every day. If I were you, I would take that opportunity. If I were Superman, I would fly to the moon. See? These sentences are not real. They are imaginary situations. We're just imagining what we would do if things were different. Okay, great, now we're in the last type. Okay, so the last type is? Do you know what it is? If you watch this video and you're paying attention, you can answer the question. Okay, so the last type is type 3 condition. So in this type, we use this to talk about things that are unreal in the past, situation that didn't happen, and we imagine what would happen if they had. So you can see the structure here. If plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. That means the if part using past perfect tense, and the result uses would have plus past participle or verb 3, because we are talking about something that didn't happen in the past. Okay, just remember that in this type, the if clause using past perfect, so it's like had studied, had rained, had known, and so on. And for the main clause, the result uses would have plus verb 3 or past participle, like would have passed, would have stayed, would have gone. We can see this pattern to imagine a different past, something that could happen but unfortunately didn't. Okay, for example, if she had known about the party, she would have come. If they had practiced more, they would have won the game. If he had listened to me, he wouldn't have made that mistake. See, all these examples, the situations is about the past, but we are imagining it a different result, something that can happen but didn't happen. So that's all for today's lesson. I hope you can understand it clearly. See you in the next lessons. Bye bye.